In the words of the heavy metal behemoths known as the Cars, this is just what I needed. They were talking about the last, I think, but I'm talking about this comic. This is Tiny Titans 13 by John Jeffries and Wallace Grummett. A nice, simple, quality comic. It's Superboy versus Robert, except Robert, he is a girl now. Progressive in it. Roberta, I suppose she would be called. This Roberta, it ties into another awful Batman story, the War Chest or whatever. Batman, he was written to be an arsehole and an absolute idiot throughout, and one of his many mistakes and petty behaviours was accepting Roberta here. She wasn't trained, she wasn't right to replace Robert, and Batman only did it to make the real Robert, John Blake, jealous. I didn't even mind the idea of making this character into Robert, but it was done terribly. It's really an awful story. Still better than R.B. Rose though. This is a teen book, so we actually start off with a flashback of Shrek Boy. Well, before this, we have got an advert for Catwoman the Terrible Film. I reckon that this film, it has got the sexiest, awful superhero. Like, she is really sexy, isn't she, that Halle Bailey? And throughout the film, she is in leather, and it is really sexy, but the film is absolutely gash. It's like she's every bit as sexy as the film is awful. So my review of Catwoman, the Terrible Film, is that it's good for a wank and not much else. 7 thumbs up. She's not even Catwoman in it. Well, she is, but she's like a completely unrelated Catwoman. She has got cat powers, and her name is something like Prudence Constant. Blummin' awful, but blummin' arousing. Shrek Boy, he is the real main focus of this issue. We're getting a look at his origin here and how it's loosely linked to the current day because he don't like needles and he is having his blood taken. He's having an elf checkup after a storyline that involved infections and blood and that. And the thing that we're establishing and really running with as a theme is that Shrek Boy, he don't like needles. So it's a bloody good thing that he wasn't the tiny titan who got addicted to heroin. And while this is all going on, there is another lad elsewhere. He is at school and he has developed what seem to be the same powers as Shrek Boy. And then we catch up with the rest of the team. Emo Girl, she has gone and gotten a tramp stamp. And there is Star Fox, and our here is Wonder Girl. And then there's a funny little sequence with the Flask, the Bart Simpson's version. He has gotten a tattoo, except it's a Green Lantern's tattoo. And it's just a little jokey bit that worked really well. Then they bump into Sideburns and Shrek Boy. And Shrek Boy, he has got a cold or something. He's not feeling well. He is sick. He keeps on coughing. Which, if you can by Alpha Strike standards, this probably means that Shrek Boy, he has got a case of the AIDS. Then we have got a bit with Emo Girl and Wonder Girl. And what happens is, Emo Girl, she uses her powers on Wonder Girl to make her cheer up, I think. I don't know. This seems to be an ongoing subplot thing with the book. And this is the only issue I have got of this series, so I cannot really say. But then we have got this bit, the one that I got this comic for. Roberta, she is swinging through Gotham City, and she encounters Superboy. And Superboy, he is annoyed because he is good mates with John Blake, and he is annoyed that Roberta is wearing his costume. As I said, I do think Roberta, she really could have worked, and this could be a great development, but the story and the writing attached to this overall idea of making her into the new Robert, it was just excruciatingly bad. So then Batman shows up, and since it is a Batman guest appearance, he does what he often does in guest appearances. He is written as being a complete dickhead. The alternative was that he'd be written as an idiot. Almost all Batman guest appearances fall into one of those camps. And this thing with Superboy and Roberta is over. And since it made the cover, I would have liked to see much more of it. I didn't feel we got quite enough character stuff with it. We got Superboy, he was annoyed, but that was really it. Roberta, she didn't really contribute any character. And Batman, he was there just to end the scene and be written as a dick. It is a shame, they really could have done something a lot better. They could have actually tried and made Roberta work, but this and the way Batman is written, it's just consistent with the overall story it comes from. The Tiny Titans, they gathered at school to investigate that boy with Shrek powers, and they end up fighting him, and even this actually, I feel they didn't spend much time on this plotline either. And when they are battling against the boy, we get to the big bombshell ending that Shrek boy, he has suddenly lost his powers. To be continued, but I'm going to spoil it and let you know that he definitely gets his powers back. Maybe not in the next issue, maybe not in this story, but he definitely gets them back. Tiny Titans 13 is effective and enjoyable in parts, but it doesn't really stand up too much when you look at it critically. There is a lot of underdeveloped ideas or themes, but the art is consistently great. You can expect that from Wallace Gromit on a book. The characters and their little bits, they are all handled well. It mainly seems to be the plotting that seems a bit scattershot. And I would honestly consider this cover misleading. While this did happen, it was definitely not the main focus or really a major part of the issue. It was 4 pages. It could have been a lot more, but it wasn't. This isn't bad though, really, other than Batman's guest appearance and it being written traditionally badly. I give this comic 7 thumbs up.